If you have the kind of job where you can kind of have something entertaining on in the background while you work, this is not suitable.
You cannot watch this episode.
For work.
Don't watch this episode at all. There's
skibbity bit.
There's so
it's like
much
that
pubic hair.
There's so much.
There's so many.
Welcome to Flan-Again, a Mike Flan-Again rewatch, brought to you by the Articulate Coven. For more information on the original Anne Rice fan podcast and community, visit articulatecoven.com and find more about this show at articulatecoven.com/Flan-Again.
Welcome to Flan-Again, a Mike Flan-Again rewatch podcast from the Articulate Coven. We are your hosts. I'm Ashley.
I'm Brat.
And welcome to Flan-Again.
Happy to have you.
Happy to be here.
Excited. This is going to be a good one. This one is gross.
This one's so gross.
It's so sick.
If you do not like gore, the last maybe 5 minutes of this?
Yeah, rugged. You're going to have a tough... It's tough.
It's real bad, but it's only bad right at the end.
Yeah.
Like many things that we experience.
Absolutely. I build so beautifully to the last horrifying 5 minutes.
It truly does. This is a really good second episode for me. Also one of my favorite post stories. I love the Masque of the Red Death.
Man, Masque of the Red Death, so good.
It's a real fuck around and find out tale about what happens when you fuck around in the midst of a pandemic. Do you remember COVID, Brat?
I do remember COVID. I was there. We did that.
We did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Masque of the Red Death.
It's so good, and it's the wealthy going, nah, you guys can go fend for your fucking selves. Yeah. Enjoy yourselves. We've got jugglers and dancers, and there's drinks, and we're gonna fuck this entire time, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna ride this thing out, no problem.
Fire-breathing dragon!
Yeah, this is gonna be...
They would.
I'm sure they've got a fire breather there. I mean, they're setting themselves up for absolute joy, and I love this episode. It's got a few of my favorite moments in it.
Does it?
Yeah. At the very beginning, we're back in the old house, and they're Roderick and Augie are talking to each other, and the question of if you could ask, because we're flashback in time, right? We're back in time, and young Augie's taking pictures of a grave that's been dug up, and the corpse is out there.
So at the whole beginning of the episode, there's this. We start in the cemetery, and we find out somebody has been robbing graves. Yeah. They've had 5 bodies missing in this graveyard.
Is it a necropilio? I love that.
Poor guy works in the cemetery. He's like, I've heard of people fucking corpses, but I never heard of them taking up with them.
Is it a necropilio? No, necrophilia. And then the cops show up and they're like, get the hell out of here. We told you that you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, I didn't do anything wrong. You can't take my camera. And sends him back. He goes back to the office and gets in deep shit.
Yeah. He's like a Medicare investigator.
Yeah.
He's like an insurance fraud investigator. Investigator. Yeah. That's what his job is that. And that's how he ends up in this whole fucking mess.
A phone and a notepad is what his boss tells him. That's the only things that you need.
His boss is a real racist piece of shit, too.
Real racist, constant, absolute piece of shit. And he's like, okay, say you get everything you want and you can ask these incredibly rich people, what would you ask them? What's the first thing that you ask them? Well, would it ever be enough?
Was it ever going to be enough?
What amount of money is enough?
Yeah.
When do you say, hey, I won, I did it?
Yeah. And Roderick's like, that's a stupid question.
That's an idiot question.
Yeah.
An idiot question. Very specific on that answer. That's an idiot question.
Yeah, it's like...
Because of course not.
Yeah, there's nothing.
No.
There's no limit.
And his face...
we see it. There's no bottom.
Augie's disgusted reaction to that is so well played. Because he's just
he doesn't even know the worst of it yet. He doesn't even know the worst. Augie does not even know the worst of what Roderick has done yet. And he's already horrified.
But just can't... He finally gets to ask this question that he's been wanting to ask somebody this wealthy for so long.
And this guy in particular,
and he just
his fucking nemesis.
Yeah, he's like, you're an idiot. You're a moron. Get out of here. Only stupid people would ask that question. Of course it's never going to be enough. And it's such he's so offended to his core. I loved that moment so much.
Augie is a good guy. Augie is of good character. He's a good person. And I mean, that juxtaposition between him being a good moral person and the ushers just being a fucking mess is really strong. I mean, it's meant to be a noticeable thing because like we said, there are not a lot of good characters in this.
That's right.
Like, and I mean, like, all the characters are good as in delicious, but like, I mean, like, there's not good people.
Yeah, being a good person.
Dicks. These are the uber wealthy. This is the 1% that we love to hate. This is the rich that we would eat.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Isn't this the first episode where he's getting, Roderick was getting texts from
Lenore. Oh, we didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roderick is getting texts throughout in our current time.
Yeah, during the discussion
in the old dead house with Augie. He's getting texts from Lenore.
Yep, getting texts from Lenore.
Happens periodically.
Happens a lot, like enough that
they're commenting on it.
They start talking about, well, how dare you lecture me on being a family man?
Right.
You're here, you wanted to talk to me about this. When he's like, well, I'm just saying, at one point in time, she's going to stop texting you.
Well, he even says, like...
People stop texting.
Roderick is even like, I didn't notice your family at court. Like, you have this big court appearance and your family wasn't there. Yeah. My family was all there. That's when he makes the little jab about, well, most of them were indicted co-conspirators.
Yeah, yeah.
So they all had to be there.
Hey, he says, feigning being hurt. He's like, hey, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
My kids aren't assholes. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are, man.
You know that. You know this, sir.
I didn't want to expose them to you. It was such a great response to that. He's like, I don't want them anywhere near you. You have poisoned me, and I have to deal with it, but I will not have my family deal with you.
Yep.
I really liked that. That also speaks to the character of Augie.
Yeah, well, and his whole thing is, like, he's horrified by the lies that they've told. Like, this is where we find out that Juno, his wife, Juno, is on all the ligodone.
Yeah, as much as you can handle.
She's on a dosage that's higher than anyone's ever been on. And they say she's not addicted to it. Yep. That she's fine. Everything's groovy.
Makes her feel just fine. And she's not addicted.
A heroin addict before her accident. She was in a horrible car accident. They basically had to... Well, I mean...
She was shattered. By her words, she was shattered.
And Camille says they had to scrape her off the floor of an ER. You know, so you get the idea that this was a really, really horrible...
Just devastating.
Like, she should have died.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, now she's on all the ligodone in the land, which is promoted as non-addictive.
Non-addictive. It's just pain medication, y'all. Feel free, take it.
So the thing is there's a proprietary coating on it that slows absorption.
Yeah.
So that you don't have as many side effects, and as a result, it's non-addictive. Doesn't that sound like some bullshit?
It always is.
It always is some bullshit.
It always is some bullshit.
It always is some bullshit.
Yep.
We talk about Perry. We bring up the informant again.
Mm-hmm.
Roderick is still really curious about who the informant is. He knows it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Perry's dead. If it was Perry, it doesn't matter.
Right.
All the kids are dead, so it doesn't matter who it was.
Yeah.
But he asks, and we don't get that answer. We don't get that answer in this episode. No. We don't get a yes or no on that.
Nope.
Our boy Perry likes an orgy.
Well, that's how we're introduced to him.
He wakes up in a bed full of skin.
Yeah, bed, just everything.
A giant flesh bed.
Absolutely. And you're getting full frontal from all sexes.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And he just sits up and goes, fuck.
Yeah.
And he gets up and goes about his business to his friends crushing drugs with a butt plug on his kitchen counter.
He is fucking wild.
Yeah. He's
hedonism. Wild.
He's hedonism, man.
He is hedonism in a person. Well, and that's what does Roderick say? The one thing that you have to know about Perry is that he's
fucking insane.
Crazy.
He's crazy. Yeah. He's a crazy person.
He threatens one of his partners because he thinks that they've done something with his eggs, his special gull
black
eggs.
Gull eggs. He's gonna jam a fork in their neck.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, he's obviously unhinged from the very get. I like during the scene where he's talking to his two main buddies. Just naked people just wandering in.
Yeah.
One guy wanders by and is like, later, and just leaves, and people are getting food. And like,
if you have the kind of job where you can kind of have something entertaining on in the background while you work, this is not suitable.
You cannot watch this episode.
For work.
Don't watch this episode at all. There's
skibbity bit.
There's so
it's like
much
that.
pubic hair.
There's
so many. There's titties everywhere. I mean, you got everything.
Titties.
Yeah.
There's a lot of titties. There's a lot of groping and writhing.
This one's all about sex. It's 100% about
sex, want, desire, hedonism, taking what you fucking want.
Yeah. Yep. Just
revenge, a little revengey. We got a little revengey in here.
Big time.
Yeah.
Not a little, lots.
He has Warhol style paintings of himself in his
apartment. I know. I was like, oh god.
The ego, like there's a lot of ego with this kid.
Yep.
He's a cutie. He's in
he's beautiful.
He was in Midnight. Was he in the Midnight Club? I think he was.
I think he might have been.
I think he was in Midnight Club. But anyway, he's precious. Threatening over the eggs. And we realize that he's late for meeting.
He's like, oh shit, his Freddy, his
he's like, I wanted to ask him does he have him in his phone?
Asshole or something. Ass face. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. He's late for meeting with Freddy.
The screen is a nipple?
Yeah, it's a nipple.
It's so ridiculous.
And they're having a meeting at Fortunato. It's Freddy and Pym, Arthur Pym, our attorney, who is the great Mark Hamill. You guys, he's so good in this.
He's awesome in this.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars so much. We are
big time.
Huge nerds. Past the first episode, I never thought about Luke Skywalker.
No, he plays this character so well and so powerfully, and as you get to know him, he just has got this weird depth to and you're afraid of him for a reason. And it's not just because he's a lawyer. Like there's something you're like, there's something else. You don't get a nickname like the Pym Reaper for just being a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like there's something else that is there, obviously. Yeah,
he's a fantastic character, a lot more complex than he seems on the surface. And we get just some really good work out of Mark Hamill this whole show. I was really bummed he didn't win anything for this.
Me too.
He was so fucking
He didn't say that, and you'll know he didn't say that. This little voice he's got for this is so fun.
It is very fun. They're having a meeting with EPA-ish people.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming they're EPA. And
it's all for the government, for the I think it's the local EPA.
I wonder if it's related to the court case. It might be related to the court
case. Gotta
be
in some. I don't know. Who knows?
But we're looking at properties that have been condemned and also found to have huge environmental
lead and chemicals,
buried toxins.
Yeah.
So they're looking at all these problem sites that were either supposed to have been dealt with or destroyed.
Yeah, they should have been gone by now, and they just haven't been.
And they haven't been. So there's a whole stack of these. And then Perry shows up, and he's talking out of his ass to these people, basically taking, kind of sideways taking responsibility, which is when Pym is like, no.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't mean that. We're not accepting anything. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, he's basically implicating them left, right, and center just because he's fucking stupid. And he gets taken to task by Freddy.
Yep, takes him out in the hall, slams him against the wall, and he could give a shit about getting thrown around.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
They're all dicks to him. Everybody's a dick to him.
Yeah, he's not. He's obviously taking some beatings and stuff like that.
And
before,
also on all the drugs. He's also
he's constantly fucked up, so he doesn't
on the drugs. Yeah, he's fine. He's
gets yelled at, and they have to. Here's what you say, and they have the exact line reading that Mark Hamill joins in the middle of to get the.
And we are united in our responsibility to blah
blah blah. Yep.
It's definitely the corporate line.
Yes, very much so. It is the most. We are committed.
We're committed.
There's so much corporate jargon bullshit in it. It's infuriating, but wonderful.
It's so spot on. It's so spot
on. Freddy is all pissed off at him. He's like, "You're a little bitch," and you can tell these two hate each other.
Yeah.
They, as far as sibling rivalry goes, these guys
hate each other. Well, and he's pissed because you exist. You've taken away.
You're taking a chunk of
my money.
Yeah.
he tells him that to his face right here.
Yeah, you split to the foundation that was at 5 to 6. And that's fucked up. And he hates him for it. My favorite thing he does in this at the very end, though, is as he's turning around and walks away, he flips him off behind his back like a 5-year-old. It's such a kid thing.
Idiot.
Like, nobody can see me, but fuck you.
He calls him, the one thing he gets off really well is he calls him Gucci Caligula.
Yeah, Gucci Caligula. Yep. Some Gucci Caligula. Yeah, it's so good.
That is so brilliant. I love Gucci Caligula.
Yeah, very funny.
It is the perfect description for Perry.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So Prospero picks a property. We see next.
Oh, God, this would be perfect. Can I use this? And they're like, shut the fuck up.
Also, it's really fucking cool. Like this.
It is a cool looking,
like rundown space that he's gonna throw this party in. So he was gonna throw out pop-up orgies.
yeah, pop-up parties, pop-up orgies,
orgies, like membership fees.
10 grand to get on the list, 5 grand to get into the party.
Right. So 15 grand just to show up.
That's for one. So like you get the 10 grand membership that they up at the end of the conversation to 20.
They do up to 20. So this whole thing is supposed to be like an anonymous fuck club. Like where you can come, everyone's going to be masked.
The wealthy, the beautiful.
Yeah, the privilege. It's going to be just bodies you want to hump and fuck.
We put everything into lockers. There's no pictures. There's no phones. There's no nothing. Mm-mm. You have to wear a bracelet thing, and that is
all
the key.
Like everything involved with it is done encrypted on phones as far as like getting in.
They send it to you. You've got 5 minutes to open the thing up, or it disappears.
Yes.
Very well done. Very nicely done. His little red car that he drives around is very much him.
Yes.
With the DeLorean style wing doors.
Very much him. Very much him. He looks up at the top of the building and we see a woman on top of the building.
All red dress.
All red and blonde hair.
Blonde hair standing on top of the building.
Wonder who she is. That might be important later.
Could be. Then she's gone.
She's
wild.
gone. Yeah. But he did notice also that there were some tanks up there.
Absolutely, yeah.
That'll be important.
That will be important.
Then we go back to Vic and Al. We haven't seen Vic and Alessandra in a while. And now their monkey's dying. Their monkey's coding. We got flatline monkey.
Things are going wrong.
Things have gone
wrong. You can obviously tell that the research isn't moving fast enough for anybody's taste. They're really trying, and what is her name? The usher in there.
Victorine.
She's desperate.
Yeah.
Like desperate.
And that gets even amped up from where she is now because she's going to get approached like in this scene.
Yeah.
Dad wants it in 6 months.
This needs to happen in 6 months, and her reaction is like, dude, we're
viable in humans within 6 months.
We're literally years away.
And they're they're already worried about losing their funding.
Yep.
And this thing is definitely not ready. Meanwhile, she's pumping this poor monkey full of adrenaline.
Yep.
She's ruined that monkey as a test subject. They can't even use this as part of their study anymore.
Yep.
So it's just that she's very reactionary. She's having big reactions to things that she can't control.
Well, it's like if you put a kid in there and was like, you know what, adrenaline works on everything and that'll be good. And just like, no, the doctor is actually sitting there going, please don't do that shit. What do we,
I'm not even really sure, like, what her fucking job is.
She's the money.
Well, I know.
She's just the money. Like, that's the thing. And this is my girlfriend that I've made my girlfriend because she's a brilliant surgeon and knows what she's talking about.
She's the doctor and I'm the money.
And I'm the money. And they love to do that to people. They want to be able to control their loved one.
Yeah.
They want to be in control of everything in their life, but especially the person that they love, they want to completely have their thumb on top of them.
It's so gross.
Yeah. That's how they are. I mean, that's being an usher, man. That's what they were raised.
I mean, that is. I mean,
how they were raised.
Well, like a relationship is just something you can manipulate.
That's right.
A relationship is you can use it.
It's another business transaction.
Yeah, it's like any relationship, sibling relationship, lover relationship, mom-dad relationship. It is transactional.
Yeah,
everything's very transactional with that.
Very much so.
Speaking of transactions, we run into Perry and Leo. Perry wants drugs for his party.
This is another great scene. I really like this scene because it is two brothers really trying to help each other out. And the older brother knows, we're the bastards, and so I get what you're coming from, and you get it double because you're a kid.
Yeah.
You're young, and you haven't got your business yet and all of that. So he feels bad for him.
He hasn't gotten to prove himself.
He hasn't gotten to prove himself. Yeah. And so he gets to... He's actually in this a very good big brother.
He is.
He very good, caring big brother that's like, no, I don't have Viagra. What do you need Viagra for? You're busy.
80%
You're 80% cum. I can smell it on you.
Oh.
But he's not wrong.
That is visceral and true about
but very true.
People that young men that
He's like, all right, I'll hook you up with these guys. And then he pumps him up and gets him feeling all good.
Dude, you're better than this. Like, that's the thing. You're better than all of this. You're better than...
You're smarter than a DJ. You're smarter than a drug dealer. Like, he really pumps him up. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to get you Viagra. He's like, you're going to give me?
Look,
like,
I know a public orgy is really stressy.
It's really stressful, and I understand what it's like. So, I'll get that. And he's like, I have a reputation I have to uphold. I like that because it does humanize them being brothers with each other.
You don't see those relationships very often. You see them throughout the whole series. You're going to see it with the two of them. You'll see it a little bit with Camille and with Leo. Yeah. As well. But you don't really see a lot of that. Most of the time, they're very adversarial with each other. The rivalry goes. He pits them against each other. He makes them compete. Yep. Like, that's the whole that's a very common shit with, like, the elite, I feel like. Well,
that's anybody with money.
Shitty parents. That's the thing with shitty parents. That's going to be a constant with any shitty parent. That's probably exactly if they're rich or if they're poor. A constant with shitty parents is that they're going to pit their kids against each other.
Pit their kids against each other. There's always a favorite. There's always and when you throw this much money and power involved on top of it, it just is, I can't imagine how smothering all of that would be, as much as it does afford you to be able to do whatever the hell you want.
Well, it's a fake freedom.
Yes, you're still kind of in a prison.
Well, they are all still held to account to their father.
Yep.
All of them are. Tamerlane doesn't want to move the date back because she knows her dad.
Her dad wouldn't do that. No, hell no.
She won't move the date back on Goldbug, even though all this crazy shit's going on. We see the pressure that Victorine is under to get this fucking heart mesh going. Yep. We see the pressure that Perry feels in getting his business up and running and getting this approval for this loan.
If I can make $1.5 million in a night,
I can prove myself.
That will show him that no, I've got good ideas and I've got what it takes. And I do feel for him in the aspect of that. Yeah, God, he's the youngest and nobody takes him serious. Nobody gives a shit about him, and he's nuts.
Yeah, and because he is legitimately out of control.
Yes, yeah. Well, the man's never had a governor.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, that's the yeah. I think we find out in the next episode how old he was when he found out who his father was. Yeah. I think he was like 16.
Something like that.
Something like that.
So
well, we can clarify.
He hit that shit hard.
Yeah, well, and it's like you don't...
How can you blame a kid for, like, going from nothing to everything?
Well, in the way that he heaps things upon them. Like, he wants his children in his thrall.
Yeah, if you can't give them love, I'm going to give you everything else. Mm-hmm. And so you'll never go wanting for anything.
Yeah. Oh. Gross.
Yeah, I mean, tough. It's a tough one.
Top notch parenting.
Apparently.
Wonder if that happens a lot with overly wealthy families with obnoxious children.
Probably. I don't know. I'm assuming this is as close to reality as humanly possible.
Right. This is very real.
This is what happens. I can tell.
This was very on point.
Yeah.
This could be going down in Trump Tower any day of the week.
You never know.
Then we get a little flash of Bill working out on the TV.
Out there doing it.
And Camille is just watching.
And
like,
doing the things.
Which is hilarious because the second her assistants come in, she changes the channel like she wasn't doing
like she wasn't watching it. Yeah.
Which I love. She clicks over to Fox News where we've got a whistleblower testifying in the trial. Yep. So a good little like look into the court case and how it's proceeding because we don't get a lot of glimpses into that.
No.
This was a really...
We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it. But it's a sneaky way to kind of give us a check-in and to reiterate...
Absolutely. This is what's happening in their life.
How evil and bad this company was.
Well, and how hot the temperature is and how much pressure is on this family right now.
Yeah.
It's never been more.
Well, Camille's always got so much shit going on. So when we're going to a scene with Camille, there are multiple things happening at once. Sometimes some really wild, crazy shit happening while normal things are going on. And you're like, what the fuck are you taking your pants off for?
Yeah, what?
So it's very confusing. Camille's house is very confusing to me, but it's a high intensity place where shit moves fast.
Very quick.
And she wants to find this informant. This is her goal. She really thinks it's Victorine. She thinks there's something real fucked up with Victorine's case study. Like, she knows there's something going on with this heart mesh bullshit.
She's got a vendetta against her.
She does.
Those two hate each other. Those are sisters that really, really... you focus a lot on that in this episode of the rivalry between the most vicious between two of them. Yeah. And it's just awful. They're awful to each other. And monkey heart mesh, I would be weird about that too. I'd be like, okay. What the hell does that mean? $200 million, huh?
The bitch got $200 million for her monkey heart mesh?
Yeah. Well, and she's supposed to know everything. That's the problem, is that she's like, I have to be the one that gives it to him. I have to be the one that finds out where the informant is.
It is her, because that's fucking her business.
That's her function. Yeah.
So Camille is function. Like, she even says, I'm going to serve their head on a platinum platter.
What was her name? She says silver platter. The media lady.
Who?
Katie?
Camille? No, she says a platinum.
Nope. No, she does initially. Then she said silver at some point. Somebody said silver.
She might say it later, but that scene
that was Tamerlane that said silver. It was Tamerlane that said silver. For whatever reason, I was like, it is important what metal they're talking about.
She should have better, more expensive taste than silver.
That's
Tamerlane.
Well, but at the same time, she leans into cliche. Yes. Like that character leans into, I've kind of taken everything from someone else.
Yes.
All the time. But not a monkey heart mesh.
Not a monkey.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I also really got tickled this viewing, because I noticed for the first time, Camille has a number one boss.
Oh yes, that number one boss mug. She's hanging out with her number one boss mug.
Oh my god. She is right up there.
With her two assistants wearing the same skirts and same outfits and same everything.
Yeah, they're dressed identically, male-female versions of each other. She has given them fake names.
Yeah, Toby.
Toby. I can't remember the girl's name. That was what we were going to look up. Codicil was the other thing I was going to look up. But I just did, so. So we get back to Perry after this, and he's there planning the orgy.
That's right, of course. Yep.
Just good, simple orgy.
And he's good at it. Like as far as like planning goes, he's really on top of it.
He's really fucking good at this. That's what really sucks about them not taking him seriously, is because even though this is like a fucking ridiculous idea, like, I mean, he's gonna make a shitload of money.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and he
gets to have a big fun orgy.
Oh, in this wonderful warehouse.
It's so cool.
It's so cool looking space.
But his whole thing is he wants to get these sprinklers going. So they've got this building of sprinklers. He's like, the sprinklers go on, and then the fuck fest starts.
Yep, that's what.
And it's going to be on. And he was like, they realized that the sprinklers aren't hooked up.
They're not hooked up to the main line, to the city's main line. And he's like, can you do that? It's like, well, I can, but he doesn't want anything to do with the city. Because
so, like, it's such an underground thing. They don't have any sort of like, what is it? Permits.
They got no permits. No.
So, so this is a wild fuck fest that is off the grid.
Yeah, and you got to figure it out on the fly. Here's a problem. Well, we can't do anything when it comes to the city, so we got to do it on our own.
And he's like, there's no way that we wouldn't have our own water in a facility like this. There's tanks upstairs on the roof. Let's hook into those.
Yeah, I saw those up there. That's great. Yep, no problem. It's just like hooking up a hot tub.
Yeah, hooking up a hot tub.
Which he obviously has done.
Yeah.
You don't say that kind of sentence without having done it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Just like hooking up
It reminds me of a college party one time when we had a blow-up swimming pool outside, and the party was called Lunch is Here, Dinner is Beer.
Yes.
And it was one of our graduation parties we had at my friend Steven's house. And
so we hooked the hose up to the
hot water heater.
Yeah.
Yeah, as the night went on, it got cool, so we hooked the water hose up to the hot water heater to fill the kiddie pool. And Steven's water bill that month was fucking
would
crazy.
have to be astronomical. It would be huge.
And we were a bunch of dumb theater majors. We did not do that math.
Yeah, partying at the time.
It was good. So I can see good things coming from hooking this.
Of course, the idea of it.
Yeah, these
sure.
sprinklers, I'm on. This is going to be good. It's got some real good vibes to it. Yeah. So he says, remember the golden rule, talking about like getting his way, getting what he wants. Remember the golden rule, whoever has the gold, and then we get like a flash.
It flashes to Roderick.
Mm-hmm. And he's remembering seeing this comic in Rufus Griswold's office.
Yeah.
Whoever has the gold makes the rule is the whole thing. I mean, they reference it throughout this episode
several times. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a little thing, but what is that? Oh, this is where while he's talking about that, he's explaining that whole story. My note did not make sense until I realized what it was. Dead ass Perry. So Perry has died in the past. We're in our current time. Dead ass Perry comes, just kind of trips it in.
Just rolling as they're talking
like,
about this.
Fuck? And right as we're talking about the Wizard of Id thing and the whole, he's telling that whole story. And then pretty soon he's just like in his face.
Right up in his face.
And he is gross.
Burnt beyond anything. Like sinew,
Melty.
jaw, like no cheek.
Tendons.
Real messed up. Real messed up.
Yeah. And then we find out that Roderick has been diagnosed with CADASIL.
Mm-hmm.
CADASIL, which is CADASIL or CADASIL syndrome, involves cerebral autosomal dominant arteriopathy with subcortical infarcts and leukoencephalopathy.
I hate those infarcts.
I hate an infarct. It is a common form of hereditary stroke disorder thought to be caused by mutations of the Notch3 gene on chromosome 19.
It sounds terrible.
Well, this doesn't make it sound as bad.
Well, this isn't a TV show either.
Right. Signs and symptoms. Migraine or DeMille. Here we go. This is where we get into the trouble.
This is it.
Subcortical dementia. Yeah, so it causes...
You're going to start saying shit, strokes.
Hallucinations. Holy shit.
Reality is bent, yeah.
Or is he seeing actual ghosts, or is he just having hallucinations?
Yeah, is this his disease, or is this actually
what's happening to Roderick?
Yeah.
Is there nothing supernatural happening in this show?
You can't see this. Like, there are so many times where Usher's just going along, blah, 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 and stops, and Augie's like, dude, you okay?
Yeah, where'd you go?
Are you all right? What's going on? Everything... Back. Hello?
Come back to us.
This is an annoying enough conversation that we're having without you fucking pausing all the time. Just, come on, stay focused, please.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah, we hear a great line in this exchange where he's explaining about CADASIL and how his mother had it. This is what killed their mother, we find out.
Yes. So hereditary is in there.
Just talking about how, the only thing that might save my ass is this... experimental heart mesh.
Heart mesh. Oh no!
And then he says, "But don't kid a kidder." I like that line.
I like that line a lot too.
Don't kid a kidder. I love it. We meet Rufus Griswold here.
Yep.
Rufus Griswold. This is a really great reference. Rufus Griswold was Edgar Allan Poe's nemesis.
Yep. And
this
it's dick.
Man, such a dick, right?
He was a renowned dick. Watch the Drunk History about it, because it is tremendous.
It is really good,
actually. It's really good.
Yeah, he was his arch nemesis. He wrote, he had Poe, what was it that he had Poe contribute?
He's like, hey, contribute to my...
contributed or wrote an
he wanted him to,
or an intro?
He did. He contributed to this book of poetry, and then he wanted him to write an intro into this book of poetry as well. And Poe slaughtered him.
Yeah, he just
was like, this is bullshit. The only thing in this that's worth it is mine at the end. And I just got tacked on, so... Man, their story is so ridiculous.
Yeah, that is highly recommend that Drunk History.
Yeah.
Actually, highly recommend most of Drunk History. Sure. It's a really fun way to learn about things you probably already should have known about.
Well, I mean, and odd little things about this that you would be, the details that most history books won't give you. You're going to get a lot of the weird stuff in
I love that. That's always the best. Yeah. So we're flashing to Griswold's office, which is where this Wizard of Id comic is hanging. This is the old office of his dad's old office.
He saw his mom's
desk outside the office.
Mentions it was smaller than I thought it would be, kind of thing.
Yeah, so he's having this moment. He works for this company. He works in the mailroom, even though he's like, I don't work in the mailroom. He's trying to make it sound fancy.
Yeah, something distribution center, information distribution center or something like that. So you work in the mailroom.
Yeah, so he shows up to pitch Ligadown.
Yep, pitching Ligadown
to Rufus Griswold, who's like the CEO.
He's the man. He's the
Fortunato
guy.
now. So he took over Fortunato after Longstreet died.
Yes.
Yeah. So Longfellow. Longfellow. The actor's Longstreet. The
I don't know if he took over for him, but he's the one in charge.
He's the one in charge now.
Yeah.
So he gives this Ligadown pitch, and during it, he gives away everything he knows about how they came up with it.
The guy, the scientist.
He tells him the scientist.
The company that he works for, what it does, how it's supposed to work, all the lies that this dude is fucking peddling. He
just gives away way too much of his hand, shows too much of his hand.
His entire hand.
And this allows Griswold to turn around and fuck him royally.
Oh, bad.
In a little bit.
Real bad.
They call it, this is an opportunity for pain erasure.
Yes.
It's not just like pain.
It's not management.
It's pain erasure.
Yeah.
In this little pill is a world without pain.
Yeah. I mean,
you guys. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, that sells itself. Like, the pitch behind it is really good. But the actuality is really bad.
Yeah. And he acts real nonchalant about it. Griswold's like, oh, man, I hate dealing with the fuck dick association, the FDA. I'm dealing with a whole fucking thing right now. We're really more into medical devices, less into pharmaceuticals.
Less in that. Yeah, it's messy.
Yeah, he's like, it's just messy. I'm cleaning up a mess as we speak. And that means he's referring to stealing the 5 bodies that were all associated with
the drug trial.
Yep. So that's something that gets revealed, that every one of these missing bodies was associated with this drug trial for his company, for a doctor that won't return phone calls for people that have questions.
Yep.
And they think there have been forged documents involved, forged signatures involved. Forged consent forms. There's a lot of mess happening here. So he passes. We go back to the usher's apartment, and it is a screaming
my
baby.
God. Listen, all of you guys that have children, go get them. That's wonderful. But man, you want to put high tension in the air, have a screaming baby throughout an entire scene. That was wild. And they pushed it just far enough that you were like, I have got to stop it screaming.
I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm going to lose my mind. Yes. And it's, they build that into such a nice thing to when, the baby's down and they're all eating and having a drink.
And they're having like some quieter adult time. Yeah, and this is where we meet Annabelle, which is Roderick's first wife, Roderick's only wife.
Yes.
And Roderick throws out a little poetry at her, which is some awkward reading of Annabelle Lee. Not my favorite work from Zach Gilford, but I don't know that
Poe's difficult to deliver, man.
But I also like that Madeline's like, ew, no, stop it, ew.
Yeah, that's gross.
That's gross.
Why are you doing
that in front of me? Which is exactly kind of how I felt. I'm like, that seems intimate. Like, I don't need you reciting poetry to your wife in front of me.
In front of me, yeah, that's a little weird. But you could tell that's something that Annabelle loved. She was crazy about it. She was like, he says poetry to me and it does all these things.
They're very much in love. They seem to be very much in love. She is kind. She is nurturing. She's a good mother.
And she is looking out for them.
Everyone.
Like, looks out for
everybody.
And is
interested in what they have to say and is, has a quieter existence and isn't as ambitious as the two of them are by any stretch of the imagination.
And will take shit.
And will take shit.
She will take shit and just let it slide by just for the sake of just keeping the peace.
Keeping on.
Did you notice that when they shifted from the baby screaming to all of them eating, the ushers have whiskey in those really...
Are they the same fucking glasses?
They're close.
Holy shit.
And what's her face? Annabelle is drinking beer.
I knew she was drinking beer.
She's drinking a beer. And so there's just little tiny subtle differences between whiskey neat and...
That's a really good catch.
Like, it's just, it speaks so much to her everymanness of, like, she's just a good, normal mom. She's just trying to live a life and tells them, quit. Let's get out of here. Let's move on. Let's do something else.
You can do anything you want. She's like the best hype woman too.
Yeah.
She's like, because Madeline's like told the story about how she quit her job and she's done with the patriarchy. She's like, fuck these little men and their stupid little ideas and their dumb bullshit. Their stupid little microchips in the Simon game. You know, like she's just over it.
Yeah.
She's over being talked down to by men. She's over being controlled by men.
She talks down to her about algorithms.
Yeah.
Just bites her head off about algorithms. It's like,
she's like, you're so impressive, you're so smart. And she's like, algorithms are not
it's the
that
ancient
complicated.
thing, blah, blah, blah. And it was like,
right.
okay,
like,
bitch, thanks.
Down, man.
God damn.
Yeah. But poor Annabelle's just like really trying to be supportive. She's trying to be there for both of them. She's like really wanting to hype them up.
Yes.
Madeline is horny for AI even now.
Oh, yes. She had that idea.
Even in this year we are in, she is horny for artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Her whole thing about talking about how you can grow and change algorithms into something like through a computer that can really be predictive.
She's decades ahead as far as like, I see what this is in 15 years is going to be something completely different. She's very, very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
Fucking brilliant. She's so ambitious. And we see that in this conversation she has with Roderick, where she's like talking about Griswold, and it's like fuck that little man in his tiny
this guy
office.
doesn't get it. Screw
he doesn't
him,
get it.
Hyping him up.
She's like, if we hit a brick wall, we will go through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, run right through it.
Yeah,
you just keep on pushing, and we will trample everyone in our way,
including him.
Dude, fuck wild.
Yeah,
trample. Like the word choices that they use are very.
And the way they're even said, the way they're just enunciated within an inch of their life, too. Yeah. Like, it's just such good...
They mean to use... No word is just said just to say it. It is meant on purpose.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Very, very
it's intentional.
pointed,
very intentional.
Yeah.
We go to Lenore and Madeline in now times, but not current time.
Right.
But now times-ish. Where they're talking about... basically... She's using Lenore to beta test some AI tech.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey, did you fill out
all your questions?
All your questions? Like it's 100,000 questions. Like, more like 10,000. But I get what you mean.
I take your point.
Here's your 4 months of my diary. We're about to unleash this thing, so it will look up all your social media, all your entire footprint, period, metadata, all of it.
It'll look up your use of language, your relationships, like everything.
It'll, in essence, be another you. To which she's like, "Ooh, cool."
She's like,
to which I'm like,
very
"Fuck
cool.
that."
Yeah, it is.
I do not like that.
But this is Madeline's pursuit of immortality.
Yes,
this is
she's obsessed with it.
With her.
She's obsessed with it.
And I mean, we kind of get an idea why later. I think a little bit about why maybe that's been in the back of her mind for a while. But she is completely focused on this idea of immortality. She's obsessed with like Egyptian relics.
She has the immortality collection, to which she gets one of the Egyptian hooks that they would remove your brain out of your nose with. Like that's part of it's delivered in the scene, and so she's got this whole entire collection of immortality. So this has been on her mind.
Yeah.
That's the get.
From the get, yeah. I call it her nice collection of creepy Egyptian shit.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah.
Pym shows up. Lenore...
No one ever says hi to Pym. No one. I don't think anybody in this entire thing ever says hello. He just appears out of nowhere, and they're just like, all right, just leave that guy the hell alone.
Yeah.
I don't...
Well, I don't think it'd be... wants to fuck with him.
Why would you? They all know what he's capable of and what he is.
I think they don't know 100% what he's capable of.
I think they
fear about the 10% that they maybe have not quite imagined.
Well, they know that he can take all their money and all their power away from them instantly.
Yeah.
But there's no way that they've been around this business. There's no way that, Pym will handle it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden several people are erased. And that's never a problem anymore. Yeah, he obviously is dangerous.
Yeah. And he's likable as hell.
Yeah.
Just them getting caught up on that
just catching
informant
up,
business,
See what's happening,
they're talking about Perry's been spending a little less money, so they're wondering if he's dealing in cash these days.
Yeah, going in cash. That's what the deal is.
And then Juno, of course, they're looking into Juno to see if but Juno, everything For Juno is in his name, is in Roderick's name. So Juno doesn't have any of her own accounts, so it's clearly, like, Juno's not doing shit.
Well, they all want it to kind of be her to be the easiest thing. They're just like, but...
Her or Perry, either one for most of them would be fine.
Would be the best and easiest. Yep, we got them, we're done. That gets us back down to 5, where we wanted it to be anyway.
Yeah, when we flash to Roderick's office, Lenora walks in on Roderick and Juno.
Just fooling around a little bit, just a little grab
behind the desk action.
Yeah.
Juno, one of my favorite parts of this whole series. Juno says hi to her grandfather and then calls Juno
Grandma?
And Juno says, no, never again. I'll hit you.
I'll hit you.
I'll hit you.
It's so good.
I'll hit you.
I'll hit you.
Oh, I do really mean that. I love that.
I love that. It speaks to her, so it speaks to Juno so well.
Yeah.
And anybody of that age being called a grandma, you'd be like,
yeah.
Are you out of your
she can't be
mind?
more than 23.
No. Yeah, no.
By any stretch of my imagination.
No,
I don't think she can be any more than 23.
No.
It's very funny. And then making small talk, we want to know, Lenore wants to know how they met.
We need to bond. Bond.
Yeah, that's the
you
big
like
thing.
video games, let's bond.
Because they're talking, because they start talking about the AI thing. She's like, oh, she's been playing some video game with Madeline.
Yeah.
And then because she's a child too.
Yeah, she's like, well, we should bond.
I love video games.
I love that. And she's desperate to have familial connection. She's in this family. And
it's a big family and she doesn't have one.
No, and so she wants it, and so she's just so beautifully awkward about it. It's so good.
It is. It's really funny. And again, this is one of those scenes where she is dressed to the nines. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then she's going to tell a story about how she almost died in this car accident. They pumped her full of Ligadone. They brought Usher in.
Roger just happened to be there
happened
that
to be
day.
in the hospital that day. He introduces himself to her and asked her how she likes the pills, and she said, "I love them so much.
I fucking love these pills.
I fucking love these pills. I love them so much I could just blow you."
To the granddaughter.
To poor Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore's like,
this is a real awkward time with Grandma.
Yep, very strange. She's like, sorry. It's so good. She's so like how just uncomfortable she is. It's great.
She is, God bless her. Bless her.
Yeah.
She's like not a bad person, and she's surrounded by these terrible people.
By terrible people and trying to win their approval. Yeah. It's just what a terrible
And it's impossible. And why would you even want it if you could get it? Like, they're horrible people. But she wants that. Connections.
She's an addict. Like, that's part of the thing, you know? An addict has that kind of...
You want that acceptance. You want that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Then we have Perry showing up at Morella's house, Morella and Freddie's place, to drop something off for him.
He was dropping off documents.
To him.
That he had taken. That was that folder. It was the folder they had all the properties. Yeah.
So he's dropping that off, and she's actually being really sweet and is like, yeah, Freddie's kind of a dick, I know.
Freddie's Freddie, we get it.
Freddie's Freddie, we get it, you know, and actually your dad was really hard on Freddie too when it came time for his business and all that shit. You know, she just, again... one of those instances of someone trying to show some humane support of someone in their family. And then he just invites her to the big sex party.
Yeah, come to the orgy, man.
And then he gives this great monologue about perfect dicks and beautiful vaginas.
Just like nobody will know.
Yeah.
It's like, I am your brother's wife. He's like, yeah, that's super hot.
That's so hot.
You freak.
Yeah.
Buddy, go get him.
But this is his big revenge plan. Like, if he fucks his brother's wife, he is going to be able to hold that over him.
I fucked your wife.
Your wife. I'll ruin your life.
I'll ruin your life by fucking your wife. And it would. I mean, that would absolutely eat...
Freddie? That would fucking end him.
It would destroy him. It's a very smart thing. And she is like, I don't know, until... he's like, I have this burner phone. I go through.
No one's ever going to know.
No one will ever know. Throw it away. Answer it. Do whatever you want to do. And so it's that corruptive power that all of the ushers have. Yeah. That they are. It's like there's no consequence. Yeah. There will be no consequence whatsoever.
No one will ever know. Poor Morella.
Yeah.
She gets an invitation from her brother-in-law to the big sex party.
Yeah, go to the orgy. Have fun.
God bless. And we get Tamerlane and Bilt, and they have their and their sex doll comes to visit.
Dude.
So this is an interesting dynamic between these this couple is very, very interesting.
Yes.
So they have basically a sex proxy that comes in.
Yeah. Some woman, how do you like the wig? Is this wig better? This wig's way better.
Do you like my outfit? Is my outfit okay? So
it's the same stupid outfit that she's wearing, just a little higher end. It's so weird.
So she's dressing up like Tamerlane to seduce Bilt in front of Tamerlane.
To have Bilt seduce her in front of Tamerlane. Yes, yeah. And it's the questions, and he's very genuine about it. He's like, how was your day?
These poor people that are involved with this family.
This family, man. And it just gets in there, and she just settles in a chair and just starts
masturbating.
Diddly-do.
Diddly-do.
Yep. Well, they're just having this conversation, and it's
a
whole thing. Like, this is just the beginning. They're having dinner. There's two choices of teddies later.
Yeah, like a whole night.
They have a whole evening of what the fuck ever planned.
It's so awkward.
I mean, once again,
not yucking your yum.
Go do whatever you want to do, and if this is what you are into, sex work is work. I would be hilariously uncomfortable and not be able to take any of it seriously. I would be making jokes. I would ruin that experience for everybody involved. I would try, but there's no way that I would not be at some point cracking jokes.
Definitely not be good at that.
No, we would be real bad at that. That's
why we're just probably not introducing extra people into our business.
Yeah, I think that's okay.
You have to explain all your weird habits and all your weird things that you say, like we say sick all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to do that crap. No. Well, I mean, she's obviously, this sex worker has obviously been given a script.
Yeah.
Of, this is how I want you to be. This is the character that I want you to act.
A really long day. It was really tough.
Very difficult. Very all of these things that Tamerlane cannot say because she can't be weak. She can't show any weakness at all, man.
Yeah, and she's wired so tight,
wound so.
Yeah, wound tight. That's what it is. She's wound tight. My wire.
Yes, well, might as well.
She's a mess.
Just you feel for how broken a lot of these poor people are because of how ambitious they are. Their ambitions have taken over every weird aspect of their life.
Yeah.
I mean, go get them, guys. But that would be an awkward dinner.
We go back to Camille and her crew. We're hearing rumors about problems with the monkeys.
Yeah, monkey problems, yep.
There's problems with the monkeys. For the study, there's rumors about this new mysterious paralytic powder that's being used. Yeah. And Camille tells them about how when they were young, her dad would call that lab where they have the monkeys, where they do fucking scientific testing, they called it the Rue Zoo. But when they realized what really was happening there, they all started calling it the Rue Morgue.
Yeah.
Which is, again, reference to murders in the Rue Morgue.
Yep.
Which will be our next episode as well. Mm-hmm. So, as they're kind of giving her the rundown, the assistants, Toby and Tina!
Toby and Tina! Yes!
Tina!
Yes! I knew it. Yes, I knew it was something cute like that.
Yeah, it's real cutesy. Toby and Tina.
Toby and Tina.
As Toby and Tina are giving her the rundown, they're taking their clothes off.
Yes.
Just slowly, casually stripping.
Well, having the business meeting on, they know what side of the bed they're supposed to be on. They know where they're supposed to stand. They know where they're supposed to take their clothes off. Toby says something that he gets praised for. It's like, ooh, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yep. Yeah, Toby's got a good idea, throws out there. She's like, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's figure this out. And then they all get in bed together.
She takes off that jacket. It's got a rope shirt on of some kind of thing. Rope top going on there.
Fuck off.
Those two are laid down exactly perfectly the way that they should be. Very hot.
Very hot.
Very beautiful. Very nice.
Yep.
But yeah, they're.
But this is not a normal work.
No,
position. This is not a normal job position.
No, you gotta fuck your boss like that. That's not normal. That's not standard.
No, not good. Not good. Usually, you got a weird power dynamic there.
Yeah,
that we might not enjoy in this day and age.
Once again, anybody that they have any physical or emotional connection with, they have to have control.
Control. We go see Freddie and Lenore are working on a ship in a bottle, which is the most boring thing someone can do on a Friday night.
They had to have been like, what is the lamest thing that Frodrick can be doing?
Well, and the Grampus is the name of a ship in a story.
Yes.
Like, that's legit. I think it might be in the Arthur Pym story, actually.
I think it is.
But it's...
that is the ship that he was on.
That's the ship that he was on. So that's an actual, like, Poe reference, and it's what Lenore called... Roderick when she was young, when she was really little.
Kid.
Like Grandpa's when you say stupid things.
And so, she walks down and she's got obvious, beautiful blue dress underneath overcoat.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, what kind of cheering up your girlfriend club are you going to in that? She's dolled up.
Yeah, she is.
Throws out an excuse that, hey, my friend's really down. We're going to take her out and show her a good time.
Yep. Well, when are you going to come back? Oh, we don't know. She's been having a really tough one, so, well, I don't know. Yeah, very vague on purpose. Enjoy building your ships.
Have fun with your ships, nerds!
And the nerds get back to doing nerd shit, and they keep doing their stuff.
And she's going to the sex party. So we get to the sex party, and everyone has lockers. You're not allowed to take your phone.
Yep, gotta put all your shit in there.
You gotta have your bracelet on. That's like your entry thing.
Your mask is in there. They put your masquerade mask on.
And already there's just a lot of sweaty body parts out on that.
There's a lot of naked happening.
A lot of writhing, a lot of grinding is happening.
Excellent music. Yep, out there.
Excellent music choices.
Kick-ass music choices.
This DJ at this party is the tits.
Yeah, he was good.
I would love to party at this party. I don't want to party at this party, but I want that DJ to spin at a different party somewhere else.
I'm glad that DJ is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We find out that Prospero set up cameras everywhere.
Everywhere. Everything.
There are 12 bedrooms with the floors are complete, or mattresses.
Mattresses on the floors. There's the guys with the red glow sticks that have all the drugs.
There's an open bar. There's a bar with champagne flowing, but not a lot of bartenders, apparently.
Not a lot of bartenders. Not enough bartenders.
But yeah, so he's got cameras. He's got cameras everywhere.
And
he's like, we're going to make... That's the real thing.
That's the real business.
So we find out that that's really what he's going to be making his money on.
Selling state secrets, man. Yeah. Selling, this is a senator's daughter, and this is a draft pick.
Exactly what his brother said, which is that you are smarter than a drug dealer.
Yes. And he was right. And to be able to trade in secrets. Yeah. That's... classic. That's classic stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we get this entrance of Red Death.
Yes. Got the skull mask, this red cloak that does not quit.
Woo!
Absolutely fantastic. Shines out above everything.
Is so hot in this episode, it is a little dizzying.
Yeah, she is gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah, she's dropped down, drag out. Oh my
all
God.
Of it.
Yeah. Looks great. Wandering around and she's moving at unnatural speeds. Show is all over the place. Prospero goes and talks to...
and it's a really cool dance mix of Wicked Game.
Yeah.
Chris Isaac's Wicked Game when she enters. It's fantastic.
Very good.
Just very well choreographed. Like, you can tell that all that blocking was very intentional. Yeah. He has an opportunity there to follow Morella into one of the bedrooms. Because Morella's, like, hanging out over there. And she's, like, making eyes at him. And instead, he follows Red Death.
Yes, follows her.
He's going to follow her. And he leaves Morella over to, like, awkwardly, like, hand jive.
I'm the wallflower at the sex party. Nobody wants to fill
at the orgy.
Yeah, nobody's wandered up to this admittedly beautiful human being that is there. Nobody's wandered up and was like, hey, man, what's going on? Nope. She is there to go after one dude.
She's there. She's a prop. A prop for Perry.
Yeah.
It's a prop for Perry. Yeah. So he follows Death. And he follows Red Death. And the thing is he knows she's not invited.
Yeah, he's like, I know everybody.
I know everybody at this party.
Yeah, I made the list. I don't know you. What is going on?
Yeah. And she's like, well, I know everybody at this party too. This is my kind of party.
My kind of party. Yeah.
And this is a great scene. She loves this sexy party.
Oh.
So this is her and Perry basically in one of the bedrooms. It's all red lit and very sexy. She's like lounging on the bed. there's some really great lines. She says, sex, yes, but a dash of Rome.
But a dash of Rome.
Oh,
yeah.
it's so good.
And everything that he wants to hear.
Yeah,
like
because he's excited about this. He wants this party for the party of it. Like, he's going to get the money out of it. He's going to get everything he wants out of it. But he wants this party for the literal fuck of it.
For the fuck of it. Yeah, for the party of it. And that some mystery, beautiful woman has shown up and got in here somehow. I mean, that's intriguing as hell.
Yeah. She, she tells him, like, it's, what is it? The moment just before something happens. Like, basically, the moment just before is even...
You get what you want.
The moment just before you get what you want is even sweeter.
Yeah.
Like, that moment just before. She's, like, telling him, you can stop this.
Yeah, you can stop this. You don't have to do this.
You don't have to do this. And that's kind of... That'll be kind of a repeat of
that comes back a lot.
Yeah, that's gonna come back a lot. So just put that back in your noggin.
Yeah, that's
and because there's always consequences. And
not here, no. I've made sure that there are no consequences.
And she's like, no, Perry,
always.
You are
explains that he is consequences.
You are consequence, Perry, and tonight you are consequential. Which is interesting because I think he's probably never felt like the most important person in the room, except when he's forced himself to be.
Well, I think that he has like facade-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. But like in his heart and in his like doing, I'm in charge of this and this is, I think you're right.
Yeah, so she, she talks about how she, you are a bad boy.
I've always loved the bad boys.
The bad boys always loved me.
Yeah.
She like crawls over the bed there.
Yeah.
She's like crazy hot.
Oh, dude, just absolutely, very stunning, very sexual, very seductive.
Very seductive.
The motions, the movements, and you can tell that this being is that way.
Yeah.
And does love this shit.
Yeah.
I love
She's having
these parties,
the best
man.
time. Like, and that's something too, like, for the most part, Verna likes her job. She's having a good time.
Loves her job, man. Like, out there, like, this is some of the fun. It's all the warm flesh.
And I've been waiting so many years to get to do this, y'all.
Yeah.
So she leaves. Perry goes back to his partners.
Teleports.
She just fucking...
She's up in his face.
Disappears.
And then moves out of frame and is dressed at the door.
And down the hall. Where she's going to start now whispering to...
The staff.
Just whispers, and I start leaving.
Yep.
She even whispers to Morella. Tells her to leave.
Leave now.
And Morella does not choose to leave now.
Well, that moment is such a weird thing because it is something somebody put their hand on their shoulder and says, leave now. And you turn around, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
You're like, what is going on? And this thing's just about to kick off. And I mean, I'm here anyway.
Might as well.
If you ever see the staff leaving, get the fuck out of there.
That's really good advice.
Anytime, man, you see the bartender bounce out, the bouncer is leaving.
Yeah.
Everybody, they're closing up doors and walking out of the place. You go with them like you belong with those people. Go with them. Just be like, those guys, I need to smoke, and I don't want to smoke in here. I'm going to go out and smoke with these guys, even if just get the fuck out of there. Yeah, no. If all the staff starts leaving, please leave.
And this build to these fucking sprinklers has got real Blade vibes to me.
Oh, it's so awesome.
So good.
The difference between the blue light and the blue light is for everybody that is leaving the place, and they get flashes of blue light, and then once she's gone, it turns fucking red.
Yeah. And he signals that it's time to turn on those sprinklers, and then we get terrifying sprinkles of death.
Dude, everything's ramped up. Everybody's grinding harder. Everybody's closer together on the dance floor.
Yeah.
The whole thing, everybody knows that it's about to go on.
Everything's about to pop. Everyone knows that at midnight this is happening.
This is what's going on.
And every bit of tension that they've built up, every bit of sexual tension they built up, they weren't allowed to fuck until the sprinklers came on.
And the way that Prospero puts his arms up in between people and opens it up to embrace them.
Oh, it's so Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, yeah, it's a gorgeous shot with the drops that come past the camera lens, and then
and then everybody starts to melt and scream and holler.
to fucking 9 Inch Nails in the back band.
Yeah.
Just,
I want to fuck you like an animal while you melt at this party.
Everybody's melting and screaming by the water, and they're pounding on the doors and trying to get out. And he's confused.
Awful.
Like, that's the thing, is Prospero isn't screaming, and rather he's like, what the fuck
is going on?
Just happened. What is going on? Yeah, his disbelief is very, very.
If your family runs a shady pharmaceutical company, don't trust the stored water sources.
No. There's got to be something in that. It just turns into this soup, this stew of just people just melted flesh all over the ground. The everything dies. The music dies. The lights are all just a few people trying to crawl around through the muck and whatever else.
And then boom, follow the House of Usher. We get
she puts that. She walks up to him. She walks up to Foster and it's like, you are a pretty little thing.
Beautiful boy.
Kisses him on the lips, throws her mask on him, and that's
leaves. She says, "Oh, you beautiful
boy." Yep. Yeah.
And kisses his melted face.
Kisses those melted ass lips.
Oh, damn.
And then does this.
And
does this after it. Like, is. Come on, man. Man. Yeesh. All right, well, rub that flesh in. He was young.
So that's our first dead usher.
First dead usher.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, that's I like that they got that one. I like that they got Red Death out of the way early because it really is. You don't want to build to that one. That one is, this is all opulence and all of these are wealthy people and we need them to die. You know that one's going to be in there. It's too popular of a story to not be included.
It's like a big start and then things get more intimate as we go along.
Yes, exactly.
Which is really, really fun. This is like this is a lot of collateral damage too that we're seeing. Yeah. This is not... We're not necessarily going to see that the whole time, but this one is one of the messier deaths we see. Real gross.
Oh, quite visceral. Very
a lot of viscera.
Viscera. Yeah, there's so much
goo.
Human slime everywhere. It looks really good. It was done very, very well.
Yeah, it's sick.
And Prospero is the right one to go first. Like he's the youngest and the most obvious. He's the mole. Or not the mole, the informant.
Not the mole.
Not the mole, he's an informant.
He's the informant.
But I think it's good that he goes first, because everyone else has so much more meat on the bone. Gross. But, I mean, it's right there, you have to say.
We're gonna see a lot of good times for everybody.
Oh, the escalation is quite good. Quite good. In a lot of different ways that you don't really expect.
Yeah, the tension really gets ramped up as we go along. It's fantastic. That was the gory, gross end of Prospero Usher.
Yep, sure was. It was good.
And quite possibly, and almost certainly Moreira.
Oh, come on. Who's going to make it out of that crap? Like, everybody got acid.
That's a soup.
That's a tough one.
Stew of humanity.
That's a tough one.
Blech.
That's a really bad.
Yeah,
That's a tough way to go.
That is a tough way to go.
Yeah.
I don't burn to death in acid rain.
I mean, I guess it happens fast, but at the same time, I mean, you melt. That's and you're one of the beautiful people.
Oh, well, that is even more insulting.
That's
I mean,
the thing.
like, let's be real. Like, that's part of it too. Like, these people are all beautiful, rich,
untouchable, and then they all are melted because they went to the expensive sex party. That means go to the cheap sex party, I guess. Yeah.
So you gotta go to the $5 orgy.
Yeah. Oh, don't go to the $5 orgy. No, somewhere there's got to be a middle something.
Like a $500 orgy.
I mean, listen, $100 to get in. I think that's fair.
$5 orgies, that's some carny shit.
Dude, that's out back behind the PetSmart. Like that's. No! Yeah, someone untoward has $5. Don't go to that one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, good advice for you to carry forward through this next week is avoid the $5 orgy.
Always avoid the $5 orgy.
We're gonna be back next time with the third episode, which is the Rue Morgue.
Yes. Yep. That's the Rue one is for sure. Yeah, Rue Morgue.
Yes, the murders in the Rue Morgue.
Yep.
So we will be back for the murders in the Rue Morgue very soon.
Yeah, very soon. We'll get on top of that.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you, guys.
I hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, watch episode 3. We should have an Articulate Coven episode popping soon for Blood and Gold. So if you are vampire adjacent, it's kind of our main podcast. This is our kind of horror adjacent podcast. And if you're into vampires, hop over there and hang out with us as we talk about our really delicious vampires, sexy hot vampires from Anne Rice. So we'll be covering Blood and Gold over there in our book club. And then we'll have some more movie night episodes coming up soon, too.
Cool.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thanks for
Of course, yeah, this is fun.
So we've been your host. I'm Ashley.
I'm Brat.
And this has been Flan-Again, a Mike Flan-Again rewatch podcast.
Thank you for watching Flan-Again, a Mike Flan-Again rewatch from the Articulate Coven. If you want our videos and audio early and ad-free, visit articulatecoven.com/join and join the Coven.